Round two. It always starts with a giggle. Long story short, I recorded this whole fucking thing once before already. Here's hoping this one is genuinely shorter than the first one. I spent a full hour, not including the minor prep time. I spent a full hour recording the last video. Wow. And the mic wasn't even working. Beginner's luck. But yeah. Where do I start then? Basically, this is a video for me, for the most part. I want to get out of my shelter zone. I want to do content that's more interesting for me to make. And I don't know, I want to experiment. Not only that, but it's also probably the best way for anyone who's looking to get to know me. Being real, I'm not a social person. I don't post a lot anywhere, so this is it. Whether you're a friend of mine or you're just meeting me, this is probably the only way you'll really know me. Who knows? Yeah. On top of all of the personal reasons I have for trying to do a video of this type, I just feel it'll be fun. But yeah. With that being said, this video is just me talking about video games and my progress currently, previously, and upcoming with video games. I was originally going to make this a nice big special, talking about a bunch of extra stuff as well, but I figure I don't have that much energy left in me at this point for that stuff. I'm just going to package that stuff up and save that for later. I've managed to remember all of that off the cuff, so I don't see why I couldn't just do it later. With that being said, any context needed to give? Not really, no. Let's start with the games I've previously finished then. Medal of Honor 2010 and Medal of Honor Airborne. Yeah. Very short games, both of them. I think they both took around like 12 hours combined to complete, maybe at most. Both of them have dead multiplayers, no other game modes to service. Both first-person shooters. Medal of Honor 2010 is set in the modern military era. Came out a couple years after COD 4, so it's probably trying to chase that trend. Medal of Honor Airborne came out around the same time as COD 4, and it's a World War II first-person shooter, particularly focused on the airborne. Medal of Honor Airborne actually has weapon mastery built into the campaign, which I actually found interesting, and yeah. So I played through both of those campaigns. Medal of Honor 2010 is a really short romp. Can be pretty, challenging sometimes, but pretty decent. I like the concepts, I like the ideas behind the story, but the story itself is pretty bland. Gameplay can be pretty bland sometimes. There's some fun portions, but it gets bogged down pretty easily. Medal of Honor Airborne's a different beast, but at the same time it shares a lot of similarities. It's got really cool concepts, themes, and whatnot going into its story. And while the story execution is better than Medal of Honor 2010's, in my opinion, it's still pretty poo. Especially comparing it to COD 4, which came out around the same time. Yeah. Medal of Honor Airborne, though, still pretty fun time. The weapon mastery is not bad in the campaign. I think it gets a bit bogged down when you start looking at the launchers, which is why, for the second time around, I did it originally on the Xbox 360. I did it again on the PC recently. I didn't do the launchers this time around on the PC just because the launchers aren't fun. Panzerschreck and M1 Bazooka specifically, you can't equip them to your starter class when you go into missions. which means they're only pickups, and getting ammo for them is really rare. And anytime you die, you go back to the latest checkpoint, and all progress with weapons resets to that checkpoint. So, yeah, it's going to be tedious should I want to go and do all that. And I don't, so I'm not going to. Yeah, but regardless, that's also posted on my YouTube channel. That's just a short video explaining, well, showcasing what I just explained, basically. And that's the Medal of Honor stuff. Quickly out of the way. Do I have that book on me? No, I don't have that book on me, so I'm just gonna have to off. No, I do have that book on me. I'm so stupid. Ugh. The wonderful book. You talk about the quick little easy side ho type games. Apex Legends, Black Squad, and Iron Sight. All of them are free to play, multiplayer-esque. Black Squad and Iron Sight are multiplayer, kind of in the Call of Duty sense, where they pit you in matches against other players, but you can play bots if you want to, and progress even with those bots. There's no real other modes, as far as I know, for Iron Sight and Black Squad. I haven't played a lot of Black Squad at all. I played a little bit of Iron Sight, but it's mostly about the weapon progression in Iron Sight. That's probably what I'm going to do, is go into the weapon progression. There's not much else to do. I've not played a lot of Black Squad yet, just because Iron Sight's been taking up all my time in terms of, like, the side-ho type game. Both of them are candidates for the video series I've been doing. If you pay attention to my channel at all, you'll see that I am probably, by the time this video even goes up, in the progress of doing just a bunch of different map tour projects, which are basically just bringing maps that from multiplayer games. I'm soon to hopefully be just more games in general, just bringing the maps that are available into an environment where you can just look at them and appreciate them for what they are, you know, without having to do it yourself, or because we're all fucking lazy, or just in case, you know, you don't have the game or have access to it for some reason. What if one of these games for some reason becomes inaccessible, or in some game circumstances, you know, the game's no longer playable in general, like the game's dead, player base is dead, and so there's nothing you can do, a la Titanfall 1 type thing. Like, you can't even access Titanfall 1 on PC, so even trying to take a look at the maps and all that stuff it's not happening. So that's just the sad fact of the matter with Titanfall 1. I think you can do it on console, but if you want to go on PC, there's no way to do it. So that's why, personally, I want to do map tour videos, because, yeah, there are maps that will forever be lost to time, just because, yeah, devs. But, so yeah, those two are candidates for it. Iron Sight is currently in the process of being filmed, in terms of all the maps. I've only got 2 maps filmed and uploaded for the scheduling. At this point in time, they'll come out by the time this video's up, but I still got to do lots more. The other, Black Squad, has not had anything done to it yet. After that, it's I'll tackle Dirty Bomb, because it's kind of another side ho game, but it's more important to me than any of the other ones. But Dirty Bomb is kind of an old game. It was released in 2016. It's another free-to-play, multiplayer-only shooter. It's weird because it mixes Call of Duty and Overwatch almost, and in my opinion, I really do like the gunplay, but it gets bogged down by grenades and explosive spam and minor imbalances here and there. I feel like with extra content, more balancing, the game could have really been something special. Dirty Bomb is a really solid title, in all honesty. It just, again, could have used more content, could have used more tweaks. It just never really took off. It died like a couple years after it was launched, and it's kind of in a current state of almost death constantly, because if at any point there's not enough players on the servers, the devs will just take the servers offline to save themselves money, I guess. I don't know what the deal is. They struck a deal with a server company to keep a couple servers per region online, and the condition is that people play on them. And if nobody's playing on them, they pull them. So, Dirty Bomb, that's kind of why I've been going in on Dirty Bomb recently as well, because I went and played it back when it dropped in 2016. Only put 7 hours into the game. Still liked it. Never made a lot of serious progression, but they also tweaked the progression due to the fact that the game is dead now, to make it much more accessible. And in my opinion, that's a change that should have came way before the game died. It's so much more fun now, and it feels so much more rewarding to go through and play the game. So I feel like missed opportunity with Dirty Bomb, but it's still fun if you're able to get on and play it now. So, not like I'm going to tell you, like I'm going to be the thing that changes everybody's minds. But, moving on from that, the thing with Dirty Bomb, it doesn't have a private match system, so I can't actually go through and do map tours. I could do maybe, like I did a brief series, like a match on every map in Batman. Is it Batman? Well, fucking Gotham City Imposters. But there's only 7 maps in that game, so it's really easy to find all of them in a matchmaking. I've only played 6 maps in this game so far, I think, and there's like 10. So, it's kind of difficult to get all of them. So I'm debating on whether or not that's an actual thing I'm going to go through with, because it seems like some servers just don't run some maps in the rotation, or at least they don't get voted in very often. Moving on from that, I'm going to tackle both of these as a combo pack. Plants vs. Zombies and Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. Plants vs. Zombies, it's a tower defense game. It's got a couple extra mini-games that shake things up. I played a lot of those back on the Xbox 360 when it was an arcade title. I think this time around on the PC, I'm just going to play through the campaign for good old time's sake. I played it through with a buddy, on and off, in co-op maybe? Way back in the day, way back in the day. But I want to properly play through it myself. I thought the co-op mode was pretty fun. I thought the mini games are really fun. I don't really remember the campaign. I know that it's a classic game, but I want to play it for myself properly. And Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. It's basically it's like the third entry in the Garden Warfare sub-franchise of Plants vs. Zombies, which is kind of like a third-person multiplayer, almost only, for the most part only, kind of series of games that based on the PvZ franchise. I don't know who the fuck this was initially supposed to be catering to, but it actually landed with a player base, and the general consensus is that Battle for Neighborville is the inferior of the 3 Garden Warfare games, even though it doesn't carry the Garden Warfare name. It's basically a Garden Warfare game. Garden Warfare 2 is considered to be the best. I've played all 3 of them at this point. Garden Warfare 2 is really fucking good. BFN is subpar, I do agree. And the original PvZ, it's like COD 4. It's primitive, comparing it to any other game in the franchise, but it's, like, looking at it, it's good for what it was. I think the ranking, like, the leveling progression in that game for the classes was a bit weird. It didn't need to be the way it was, but other than that, it was a solid title. And, PvZ GW2 expanded upon that greatly, and BFN tossed everything out the window and just said, let's take GW2 and remake it in a completely different skin. Almost completely different skin. Like, we'll take some similarities, but for the most part, let's just act like the first 2 games never existed, and this is a whole new project, with the same general idea as GW1. So that's how I feel BFN kind of turned out, if that makes sense at all. And I personally play the AI because playing against players, I'm a Call of Duty guy and somewhat Battlefield and any other games that have those transferable skills, because it's just that I don't like learning too many different skills in terms of first-person shooters. I've been playing Call of Duty all my life, basically, and to try and adjust to anything else is a bit difficult. But I try. With PvZ, BFN, there's some single-player open-world stuff. I've done most of that already. It's just the class progression, basically. PvZ BFN is actually in the running for, what is it? Map tours. I have one recorded right now, and I think it's uploaded, so it's going to be coming up before this. But I haven't recorded a lot for it yet, so I need to get to work on that, especially considering that I'm running out of scheduled content soon. And this was supposed to be the next big up thing, and I haven't done much of it yet. So, luckily I've got a lot of smaller stuff in between there to help me suit me out. I got some shorts coming out, I've got this, plus I think I've probably got a couple Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War highlights videos coming. So... yeah, that does seem to be it on that. Oh, wow. I'm cleaning this out way quicker than I did last time. Apex. Blah, 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 blah. Did I properly talk about it? Yeah, I did talk about Apex. Just trying to go through some of the grinding and that, get some stats. Not looking for anything in particular or to unlock anything particular with that. Black Ops Cold War. Might as well talk about that. It's huge. It's a huge thing. Well, I've been keeping up with that season by season. Zombies, I try to go 100% on every season, and I'm going to do that with this season, hopefully. Multiplayer, I just grab what I can in terms of the seasonal challenges. And I'm trying to go gold in Black Ops Cold War for some of the guns, not all of them. I'm not going to go for the melee, I'm not going to go for the launchers or the sniper rifles. I don't care about those 3 classes. Enough said. I've currently got all base game subs and ARs done. I got 1 shotgun done, 1 LMG, 1 tac rifle, and 1 pistol done. Plus a couple extra, like, DLC submachine guns, and I think all current DLC ARs. But that's before Season 4 is dropped, so who knows what's coming that season. Yeah, I'm Prestige 15, or whatever the max highest current seasonal prestige is for Season 3. I forget. Yeah, basically I'm just trying to complete the last couple challenges for the multiplayer of this season, and then I'm going to move on and mash out all of the zombie stuff for this season, and then put it down and relax until they drop Season 4, check out what Season 4 has to offer, and then decide and make a plan around how and when I'm going to start grinding Season 4, because I'm probably going to grind Season 4. Seasonal challenges, easily. Depending on what the battle pass looks like, I'll probably get that. And, well, I mean, I'm probably going to want to get the Master Prestige for the season as well. So, yeah. Simple as that. I've played the campaign already, and eventually, once all of this is said and done, I am going to go back through and do a couple of the extra campaign-specific barracks challenges. Same thing can be said for the zombies and multiplayer challenges from the barracks as well. I'm just saving that kind of stuff. The stuff that will always be there for when I don't need to worry about time limits. I think, the only other thing I was missing out on is there are operator challenges as well that come with skins in the battle pass, which I'll throw in there as well and eventually do. I think that's really it, though, if you were to sum it up in the nicest possible way that you could. Yeah, I don't really play any Warzone at all, so... No, I don't play any Warzone. I haven't had the fucking game on my PC in a month plus, so yeah, I don't play any Warzone. I don't keep up with it. I haven't even touched the latest 2 guns. I maxed out every single weapon in Modern Warfare 2019 and golded a damn good, decent number of them, but I never touched the Sykov and the latest melee weapon to be released. Just haven't gone back to the game. Hallelujah. The second last game. Hallelujah. Titanfall 2. I thought I'd conquer this one. Oh, basically, I got Titanfall 2 on the PlayStation 4 way back in the day when it first released. Never actually ended up playing it. I played it the pre-alpha test or whatever that shit was. That free thing that they released for players to try out that featured like 2 to 3 maps way back in the day. It was fun. It got me interested and it made me buy the game, but I never ended up playing the game. For me, it was exactly the fact that, like, it's a massive grind. Titanfall 2 was a massive grind, and when you slot that in between whatever the Call of Duty was for that year, which is always another massive grind, and then Battlefield 1? Okay, it was Infinite Warfare and Battlefield 1. Yeah, wow. So when you slot in Battlefield 1 and Infinite Warfare, 2 really grindy games, yeah, Titanfall 2 ain't gonna cut it. especially when I was already kind of like I was burnt out of advanced movement games at that point. Black Ops 3 Advanced Warfare, and now Infinite Warfare. Yeah, I was not looking forward to Titanfall 2 at that time as well. Like, as much as I actually did enjoy the game, I bought it with full intention of playing it like a year or two later. uh, yeah, that's really my previous experience on it. I didn't even pop it in my console. I played like a mission or two out of the campaign, and then never went back to it. I still do intend to play the campaign, and that's one of the things I'm adding on the to-do list with Titanfall 2 now, is to complete the campaign. But I'm trying to see how far I can punch through the multiplayer before the multiplayer for that game dies. Because, well, long story short, like 2 fucking weeks ago, the game had a resurgence, and its player base was looking beautiful, the best it has had in years. They did a free weekend for the game, and then I think a sale for it, and then it's also on the EA Origin thing, or EA Play, or whatever that fucking subscription service is. So there's enough ways to get your hands on Titanfall 2 now that the player base actually jumped up to around like 6,000 to 7,000 players a day. It's down to around like 2,000 to 3,000 now. It's depressing how quickly the game died. And I tried to explain this quickly in the previous take of this video, but I'll try and explain it even quicker now. But basically my theory as to why that is because, well, when you have so many multiplayer titles nowadays, and there are people like me who just want to grind multiplayer titles and want to complete weapon masteries and all these types of games, it gets a bit rough when you can gold out a gun or two in a day in a Call of Duty game, and then in fucking Titanfall 2 you have to get like 2,000 fucking kills with a gun, with a single gun, not even including all of the other subsets of challenges that you need to do. I think there's like I don't even know, like 500 assists with each gun as well, depending. I think like anti-Titan weapons require you to kill like 500 Titans. That's still a lot of Titans. There's their version of Bloodthirsties, which is the killing sprees. And then there's like another challenge, which is headshots, yeah, and there's headshot challenges as well. And they're all absurdly, ridiculously high. It's insane. Not only that, but if you like level progression, even if you don't care about camo progression, level progression, each weapon has like 10 fucking regens at min. And regens are prestiges in Titanfall. They're what prestiges are to Call of Duty. So, yeah, I'm currently like a regen 1, which is prestige 1 essentially. And I've finished, in my book, 2 guns so far. I have a certain kind of criteria I want to do with each weapon to the point where I'm done with them. Originally, I was just going to try and do a lot more of the weapon challenges that were there, but there's just too many. There's too many, and they're absurdly high. And I think that's the biggest reason, why a lot of people dropped off, is because when you have so many fucking games taking up your life already, both single player and multiplayer, with all of the things that they require you to do, when you look at Titanfall 2 and you see 2,000 players a day, and all of these players are probably grinding hardcore for whatever the fuck it is, the Titan progression, the pilot progression, all of the weapon progression. You see 2,000 players pro scrimming it up. You kind of lose the will to grind out 2,000 plus pilot kills on every fucking assault rifle, plus SMG, plus pistol. It gets a bit annoying. You don't want to do it. There's probably some poor sap who's done it, but the only thing I can do is salute you. But that's why for me I've edited how I'm tackling Titanfall 2 and why I believe personally some people drop off games that are just insanely high in terms of grind. It's because if you look at it and you realistically go, I'll be here for years. I don't want it. Now, with that being said, I'm just going to see how far I can get, how many weapons I can complete in my books before the game kind of just teeters out. And that leaves us with our final title of the day. Top final 2 titles. Command & Conquer Remastered, which is... Well, it's Command & Conquer Remastered Collection, which is 2 titles packaged into one. Command & Conquer 1, the original, and Command & Conquer Red Alert. the original of the Command & Conquer Red Alert series, which is itself a sub-franchise. How do I explain these games? They're real-time strategies. The only other real-time strategy games, to my knowledge, that I've played. I don't know if Hearts of Iron 4 is considered a real-time strategy. If it is, it's a different beast altogether regardless, and it was just difficult for me to play. So, I had to get the tutorial to show me how to get started, and I just played it on the easiest possible settings with mods and cheats galore, just so I could fuck around. Age of Empires 1 to 3, though, I had played legitimately, and those are the only ones I know for sure are real-time strategy. I played Civ 6, which is turn-based strategy, but it's in the ballpark. To me, this feels like none of those. It feels closest to Age of Empires, but it's not Age of Empires. It's just blatantly not. I understand that people are probably going to look at me funny for comparing the two, but no, it's like, from my experiences, that's the closest I can relate it to. But Command & Conquer is definitely something of its own beast, and it's actually fun. I did play some of it way back in the day. I don't remember which. I think it was probably the first, or probably one of the first ones, considering how old it was, and considering that iconic death scream just, I don't know, just seems so familiar. Did they change that? If they haven't changed the sound effect over the course of the franchise, it's possible I've played any of the fucking games, but I have a feeling it's one of the earlier ones. That, and it was because my dad got me into it, and when he was playing games, it was like 20 to 30 years ago almost, so come on, cut me some slack. With that being said, yeah, my current plan, they both games, Red Alert and the standard one, have 2 campaigns for both of the major factions of the game. Basically, there's a Soviet campaign and a Allied campaign in Red Alert, and the standard CC has this General Defense Initiative up against the Brotherhood of Nod, which I just can't get over the name Nod. Who names themselves Nods? But yeah, they're both kind of cool. Red Alert kind of focuses more on the Soviets, obviously, and kind of like the communist bullcrap that was going on for a bit there. Whereas the original CC tackles the terrorism theme. I know I'm probably going to get demonetized for saying that. I don't give a shit. Like, I make any money off these to begin with. I just hope YouTube doesn't come and stab me in the throat. I'll be ready for you, YouTube. You just fucking watch. I'm trying to think, actually, though. I'm trying to think of what is that. It's kind of based off. It's like based off of the 2001 invasion of Afghanistan, almost. Like, it's difficult, okay? So it takes elements of the real-world invasion of Afghanistan and the events preluding that, and it, like, mishmashes it with its own fictional history. So, like, what if the, terrorism groups banded together underneath this one banner called the Brotherhood of Nod, who had apparently been around for a very long time. And what if a new random Earth element popped into the mix that made this faction incredibly rich and a potent military force in the field? It's basically, what if the terrorists were a military fighting force capable of going toe to toe with the U.S. Essentially, that's essentially what the game is. Yeah. I'm trying to feel like if there's any little holes in there that my explanation might have missed, but I don't think so. I think I've covered most of it. But But yeah, I played a little bit of the GDI campaign, which is the General Defense Initiative. It's got, again, 2 campaigns for both of the major factions, plus DLC expansions for both games, which just add extra campaigns for both of the factions. So, yeah, my plan is to just play through both of those and try out the skirmish mode a little bit to see just how the skirmish mode plays, and how different the skirmish mode plays compared to the single player, because it was just fun for me personally playing through the Age of Empires single player stuff and seeing how it compared to the skirmish. But yeah, just over 30 minutes. I'm gonna end it here. This will be like the halfway point of what like would have been my previous video. I've already been recording for about an hour and a half now, probably around 2 hours with all of the test videos I put together before this, trying to get the audio to work on this fucking thing. But now that I've hopefully gotten it to work, and I've hopefully gotten this video recorded, yeah, this is my first video talking about past, present, and future video game projects. From here on forth, if I talk about anything that I've already talked about in this video in terms of games, it'll be me expanding upon it and what I've done since then, to basically further progress my game time with it, my completion, whatever you want to call it, as well as yeah, basically any plans that might have changed with it. Other than that, I don't think, like, I guess, like, I didn't really explain to you what part of this was the future, because not all of those games are currently games I'm playing, but yeah, essentially I'll just, if a new game comes into the mix, I'll throw it into the mix next time I talk about this kind of stuff. I don't know how often I'll upload these, but yeah. We'll have to see. Everything is experimental at this point. But yeah, other than that, not much else. I will say this, I am throwing around the idea of having more in-depth kind of talking about my history with games. Whereas this is just me talking about the current projects and upcoming projects and touching upon what I've put behind me. For the purposes of this episode, I brought 2 things I'd already completed just because I wanted to give an example of what that would look like. Yeah, I don't think, I think, no, not I don't think, but I think I'm gonna try and experiment with, like, talking about things that have happened way, way back in the day before I even conceptualized this video series. Like, last time I made this video, I talked essentially the entire extra half hour was me talking about my experience with the Call of Duty franchise. And thinking about that, I was going to make this an extra long episode and include that bit in here again. But thinking about it again, I think for the purposes of extending that, more content, no. For the purposes of just fleshing that one out and making sure that that idea comes out properly, and you know, so I'm not glossing over it as much, so I'm not missing details, so I'm gonna actually, you know, indulge in how I felt and how I enjoyed each game instead of just giving a general overview of everything. That's kind of what I want to do. And when I think about it for the Call of Duty franchise, Call of Duty is just the easiest franchise for me to do this for, because I can easily tell you just about every Call of Duty title that has existed. That's so weird. It's so weird. For some reason, my tongue wouldn't contact the top of my mouth to make the sound. So I had this odd if you could hear that, which is just interesting. But yeah, essentially, I'm worried. I'm not worried. I'm working on maybe turning that concept into not just a Call of Duty thing. Again, yeah, Call of Duty is just the easiest thing. I think that I could easily do that on just about any franchise of games that I've currently, or not currently, but I've previously played. So, yeah, depending on how that Call of Duty video, I definitely think I'm going to go in and try and make that one. Depending on how that one turns out, we'll see about the rest. But yeah, I think that's all I should say. This video is getting a bit longer than it should be now. I hope you all enjoyed. One very last thing, if I do look tired, it is because I stayed up all night finishing out Black Ops Cold War. Trying to get those challenges done, prepped and ready. I think it's like 8 more days until the season switches over, so pulling that all-nighter. Not only that, but I also went out for a walk at 10 today, and it's already been 3 hours since then, so my body's probably really feeling it right now. With that being said, I'm going to finally stop talking for the first time in like 2 to 3 hours and give myself a nice break to relax, and also check over this to make sure that this didn't fuck up again. But, yeah. Hope you enjoyed.